Cameroon's public investment budget for 2020 will lay emphasis on development projects, taking into consideration all the components that meet government's growth agenda. Heads of political parties to take part in the upcoming February 19 elections meet in workshops to strategize ahead of the municipal elections. Cameroonians, especially football lovers, continue to salute CAF's decision to host the AFCON 2021. Tonight, we bring you echoes from the far north and the east region on their reactions. Good evening. Thanks for joining us on the 7:30 News. I'm Gladys Tata on Anchor. Most of the public investment budget will be used to fund infrastructural development and the country's industrialization drive, from strengthening the transport and energy sectors to reinforcing second-generation agriculture. The purpose is to meet government's growth agenda. Clarice Aretakang tells us more in the following report.
Big on the list of priorities will be to finalize work related to the organization of the 2021 AFCON. This will be centered around completing the construction of stadia, roads, hotels, and all structures without which the competition may lack in appeal. Efforts aimed at attaining this objective will be heightened. Meanwhile, one of the challenges for the state in 2020 will also be to reinforce energy production and supply nationwide. While a number of plants have been constructed to power homes and businesses, they are yet to fully fulfill their purpose due to the absence of connecting structures such as electricity transmission lines. Ensuring that this requirement is met will be among the priorities of Cameroon's 1,496.3 billion CFA public investment budget. Boosting productivity equally calls for more focus on building the agricultural sectors. Competitiveness is at stake to take both from home-based to regional and global standards. Investing in production, transformation, and strategic commercialization is envisaged. This is expected to be supported by a reliable transport network, roads, railways, seaports, and airports, which meet domestic demand for growth through trade facilitation. This is also instrumental to open up and connect production zones. The digital economy, for its part, remains on the agenda of the state's development plans for 2020, with actions to boost the online opportunity to be intensified. For public spending in 2020, therefore, emphasis will be on AFCON 2021 projects and stimulating production at various levels.
New and stricter conditions have been put in place to ensure that the Cameroon public investment budget for 2020 breaks away from what has been a generalized absence of appropriate control measures to attain higher execution rates. Kilian Dantifon in the following write-up says among the new conditions are austerity measures to reduce state standards of living, increase the capital expenditure, and put in place a good monitoring system for budget implementation. Kilian?
The Cameroon public investment budget for 2020 stands at 1,496,300,000 CFA francs, up from 1,325,000,000 CFA francs in 2019, representing an increase of 1.2%. It is partitioned among all the 10 regions of the country, with the aim of developing especially infrastructure, energy and agriculture. Within the past years, the same areas of development have been targeted, but the results have consistently been poor because contracts are offered and treated as favors to friends and family instead of competent-based consideration. Thus far, execution of public investment budgets have hardly gone above 40%. New measures and conditions have been considered in the 2020 public investment budget to attain required results based on public expenditure management, continue to reduce state standard of living, better management of pensions and careers of state staff, increase in capital expenditure to finalize first-generation projects and launch second-generation projects meant to fast-track the country's industrialization, adapt sonorous production to become more competitive, rationalize special allocation accounts, and put in place a good monitoring system for budget implementation.
In a similar development, actors involved in the execution of the state budget for the 2020 financial year in the South region have been urged to respect deadlines in the award of and execution of projects earmarked in a bid to respect government's development agenda. The Secretary General at the South Governor's Office, Alexandre Legrand Ngucheme, and officials from the competent ministries were speaking Tuesday in Bolova during a ceremony to officially launch the execution of the budget, which stands at 144,669,000,000 CFA francs. Clarence Aze with the details.
The priority projects for the South region in 2020 include the tarring of roads like the Jum-Minthom-Ntam, portions of the Cameroon-Congo transnational highway, the Kribi-Akomto-Abolova stretch, the Mangong-Sangmelima road, and the Lolabe-Kribi motorway, among others. For the execution of these projects and others in all 4 divisions of the South region, the state has set aside an envelope of CFA 147,669,000,000 francs. Unlike in the 2019 fiscal year, when only 47.7% of the 609 projects were executed, actors in the chain have been called upon to set up and ameliorate the living conditions of the population as wished by the government.
We have recommended to all the actors to be conscious of the fact that things are now being accelerated.
Presentations which focused on tax innovations, innovations in the monitoring and control in the execution of the state budget and the award of public contracts. The officials have urged actors involved in the execution process in the South region to ensure that at least a 90% execution rate is achieved this 2020. Council executives too have been challenged to get fully involved as the decentralization process gets in high gear.
7 persons are reported dead and more than 15 others severely wounded in an accident that occurred in the early hours of the Sunday, January 19 at Niel in the Masok subdivision, Sanaga Maritime Division of the Littoral region. A truck transporting bags of maize along the difficult road overweight on a wooden bridge and overturned into a river. All the victims are said to be employees of a famous politician and farm in the Masok Council by name Evelyn Macon Pagal. The senior divisional officer for Sanaga Maritime, Abodo Cyril Ivan, and his collaborators were on site. The corpses have been transported to the mortuary of the Puma District Hospital. We shall be coming back to this in our subsequent newscast. Over 3 billion CFA francs has been offered to Cameroon's government to help improve the conditions of the HIV/AIDS patients and to fight against this disease. Alice Mbe visited some of the health units in the capital city, Yaoundé, to find out how far this fund is being managed and put together the following report.
At the CRTV District Hospital in Yaoundé, 2,500 HIV patients are registered out of the 304,000 nationwide. Many had abandoned their treatments due to financial hardship. The financial increase for HIV treatments given to Cameroon by the American government is without great news.
At first, some drugs were bought by patients. They also had to pay for their tests, such as viral load, which cost 5,000 francs. Some patients could not afford for the treatment. This 5 billion CFA francs has come to ameliorate on their treatment. They can receive free consultation, free treatment, free viral load, free biological test, free drugs and free care for pregnant women, and also reagents for laboratories.
5 billion CFA francs, about 3 times the previous amount, to meet not only patients' needs but equally laboratory demands.
Here at the CRTV District Hospital, medications are free of charge. Since January, for those whose treatment is resistant, medical doctors put them under special treatment. When the drugs are sent here, we dispatch them to patients.
The World Health Organization has 3 challenges to solve this year. Diagnose 90% of people living with HIV/AIDS, put 90% of people living with HIV/AIDS under treatment, and to ensure about 90% of patients under treatment have a viral load undetected.
And good news too for HIV/AIDS patients in the Northwest region who will be screened and followed up free of charge. The revelation was made during a workshop that took place at the Northwest Governor's Office by actors in the fight against HIV/AIDS, as Sevi Banta tells us from CRTV Northwest in Bamenda.
Some 70,000 persons in the Northwest are living with HIV, and over 34,000 are on antiretroviral therapy. But many of these HIV-infected persons are unable to afford some HIV-related services due to poverty. In a bid for many persons living with the disease to access these services and follow-up treatment, government is providing free services in some public health facilities and community-based organizations.
Some of these persons are not able to afford, because in the past the patients paid about 5,000 francs to do a viral load and about 2,500 francs to do a CD4 count. So now this minister's decision has actually said that there will be elimination of these user fees for persons living with HIV. So their biological monitoring will be free of charge.
Health actors have also welcomed this decision, describing it as a therapy to eliminate barriers. HIV-infected persons and the population at large have therefore been enjoined to make use of this opportunity and benefit from the HIV-related services.
We end our running series on the container terminal of the Douala-Bonaberi Seaport today because on the information system of the terminal. Since the new management structure took charge, a new multifunctional and all-inclusive software application known as Navis has been installed to command operations at the terminal. Alitora Regional Correspondent Alphonse Abongwa-Achu visited the planning department of the terminal and now presents the IT system in use.
The planning department is considered as the back office of the container terminal, where every operation is conceived and executed just with a click. The staff is already abreast with the new software Navis, a worldwide terminal operating system with 3 major components.
We have Navis TOS, which is used for managing operations, managing the yard, managing vessels, managing equipment, handling containers. We have another component which is used for database, and from database you can have statistics, you can have reporting, you can have everything. And we have the third party or the third component, which is the billing component. When the customer comes to us, we can print directly from the system all the fees or all the charges that is done into the terminal.
The option of this operating system was not accidental.
It is really flexible. You can use this TOS for managing at once many different information. It can even alert the user of having, focus on equipment handling, and also having control of all the aspects of the terminal.
As complex as it is, these Cameroonians took barely days to adapt to the new software.
Even the supplier of these softwares say that Cameroonians are very, very, very special. They never see in any terminal people that change from one system to another system in 1 week.
Compared to the former system known as Oscar, Navis has increased the number of containers which used to be managed manually from 400 to 4,000 per day.
In its third-generation road safety campaign, the National Gendarmerie is on the merciless offensive against delinquent road users in all major highways in the country. This weekend, the team was deployed along the Yaoundé-Mbalmayo National Road No. 2, where disrespect of speed limits, overused tires, abusive overtaking and other potential accident behaviors were on the eye of the storm for penalties. Kilian Dandifon reports on the activities of the Road Safety Task Force yesterday.
Saturday, January 18, at Ekali, 28 kilometers from Yaoundé. The first fixed control post, only recalcitrant cases pay penalties.
The National Gendarmerie is there to educate, sensitize and punish. Penalties come later.
Overused tires are among the most dangerous activities likely to cause accidents, and the gendarmerie is rigorous on culprits.
Yesterday, we found one driver with 4 tires all worn out, and we stopped him until he replaced them before continuing.
Getting road users pay penalties is the least of the preoccupations of the road safety team.
Les usagers pensent beaucoup plus de Camerounais que les gendarmes sont en route.
Many people think that the gendarmerie is out for money. No. If you cannot pay, we take your statement and we send you to court, where you answer for your offense.
Au tribunal, au parquet, c'est là-bas que la situation sera résolue.
It is thanks to the National Road Safety Campaign with the gendarmerie on the lead that in 10 years, deaths on the highways have been reduced by 31%.
And on to politics. Big wigs of the CPDM in the known division of the West region have been enjoined to close ranks and win the 5 parliamentary seats and 9 councils in the division during the upcoming elections. The head of the West Regional Permanent Delegation of the CPDM for the West, Sultan Ibrahim Bombonjoya, made the appeal in Fumban during a meeting to raise funds for campaigns for the party in the noon. Go Henry completes that story. Well, we shall be coming back to Ngu Henry's report in the West region, and we shall be taking the UPC party, which will run for the February 9 twin polls in only 3 constituencies in the country. And this is the verdict of the Constitutional Council after litigations by both factions of the party. A couple of days to the official launch of campaigns, many are still doubting on how things are actually going to work. Ebude Ekane sampled the opinions of the main actors of the party and put together the following report from CRTV Center.
Cameroon's oldest political party, the UPC, will run for the February 9 municipal elections in Bonjok, in the Nyong and Kile division, and the Sanaga, Maritime and Wuri constituencies for the legislative elections.
We are not happy with what happened, but what we have to do is to do our best in order to bring back our party to the institution, because UPC is a party, a historical one, which is supposed to organize militants and sympathizers and also fight for freedom, the independence and human rights in this nation.
Inside a political party, inside any association, you can have people with bad thinking and delinquency. They can bring it, but the law should protect everybody.
As a result of the internal squabbles in the party, grassroots officials such as Stefan Ngwe of Matom are of the opinion that it is time for both factions to reconcile. Is there any possibility of resolving the crisis rocking the party?
The UPC crisis is something that we found. It's through the history. It's not only something depending on the way we organize our party. It's something that we found, and we are going to do our best and try to find solution for the future of that party.
To solve any problem in any association, in any political party, you have to go back to the militants.
That is the atmosphere that reigns in the UPC a few days ahead of the launch of campaigns for the twin elections. The ball is now in the court of both factions to bury the hatchet and speak the same language.
Let's go back to the West region, where big wigs of the CPDM in the known division have been enjoined to close ranks and win the 5 parliamentary seats and 9 councils in the division during the upcoming election. The head of the West Regional Permanent Delegation of the CPDM for the West, Sultan Ibrahim Bombonjoya, made the appeal in Fumban during a meeting to raise funds for campaigns for the party in the noon. Go Henry completes that story.
As outlined in the Electoral Code, campaigns for the February 9 municipal and legislative elections in the country will begin on January the 25th, and CPDM supporters in Baham are poised to woo more supporters to rally behind their national chairman Paul Biya. There is a meeting to share ideas on how to efficiently carry out electoral campaigns. And knowing fully well that in this game of political ideologies, the fate of actors lies in the hands of electors, party leaders at the grassroots level receive some campaign material. The participants who were called upon to be responsible electors, beware of detractors, encourage electors to massively turn out on election day to exercise their civic responsibility, promise to propagate their ideologies of what they term the party of the people. They were also made to understand that in politics, veritable actors are debaters and not combatants. This is a sign of political maturity in a true democracy.
Well, we're sorry for that mix-up there. That was in Baham, not the Noon Division. And on to religion, Catholic Christians in Logbikoy and Bai Nanyong subdivision of the littoral region have been encouraged to remain steadfast in prayers so that more blessings can come their way. This message was echoed during a political mass celebrated by the Bishop of Baturi, His Lordship Marcelin Made Ndamyem. Romeo Nkenyi traveled to Baturi and brought back the following report.
This is the first Holy Mass. His Lordship Marcelin Marie Ndab Nyeb is celebrating in his native land, Logbikoy, Nyanon subdivision of the littoral region. He was appointed Bishop of Baturi Diocese on April 25, 2018 by the Pope. Excited to be back home, his pastoral vocation is set to have started in this mission station in Bai some 55 years ago.
I came here to thank him for this great grace. So, nothing new to tell them, except to express my joyful to coming from this place, to be born in this place, to thank God, to meet everyone.
Assisting the prelate in the Eucharistic celebration was the Bishop of Yokaduma, who called on the faithful to be steadfast in prayers.
The first motivation is that we came to thank God, because I think having a bishop in a diocese, having a bishop in the village is something good. Not for the good of the bishop, but for the good of the church. And realizing that people come to thank God we have is something good.
The ceremony ended with catechumen receiving the sacrament of baptism, while His Lordship received gifts from well-wishers.
And as you heard in that report, that was a mass celebrated, pontifical mass celebrated by His Lordship Marcelin Marie Ndamyem. And we now take you over to here in Yaoundé, where members of the Nso Bati Women Association, grouping women and daughters from the Nso Imbui division of the Northwest region, have been thanking God for 2019 and committing 2020 into His hands. The annual Thanksgiving Mass at the Baptism of Jesus Parish Citevet saw the over 215 Nso-Bati women using their talents in worshiping God. It was also an occasion for the Nso-Bati women to welcome in a cultural way the new parish priest of the Citevet, who is an origin of Nso. Emanuela Vemye covered that report for the 7:30 news.
The Nso-Bati women using their voices to thank God for 2019 and entrust 2020 into His hands. It is the annual Thanksgiving of the Women's Empowerment Group.
We have three main objectives: to empower the Nso woman economically, socially, and culturally. Economically, we organize entrepreneurships, workshops, seminars, and we encourage every woman to have an economic activity. Whatever you are doing, you must have a secondary activity.
With the works of their hands, the women want to welcome the new parish priest of Citevet, who hails from Nso.
I am thankful to God for this warm welcome that my people have reserved to me. A message of love, a message of peace, and a message of unity.
The Tor dance is then employed for this inculturation ritual. The over 250 women, through different schemes, empower themselves as a way to build a strong society.
And on to this advertorial, the staff and management of the hygiene and sanitation company Izakam in Kumba have pledged to double their efforts in ensuring that the town of Kumba remains clean despite challenges plaguing the area, so as to get socio-economic political crisis in the region. They pledged their commitment during a ceremony to vote the best worker of Izakam in Kumba for the year 2019. Guy Roger Nana was in Kumba. His report.
This is not a campaign for elections in the country. Rather, it is a cross-section of staff members of the hygiene and sanitation company Izakam Kumba, who have been pre-selected as best workers of the corporation. They each got a chance to convince fellow workers to give them their votes as best worker of the year 2019.
Every year, the general management, through the head with Michel Gapano, has put up an incentive that at the end of each year, he tries to give something to motivate personnel to work hard. You know, the job we are doing is a job that needs a lot of engagement. Best worker for Isaac Kumba will be having 500,000 francs, the second 300,000 francs, and the third 200,000 francs, and take them to the end of year party in Douala.
Working in the city of Kumba, which has had serious impacts owing to the crisis plaguing the southwest region, has not been an easy challenge. However, the members of staff have not relented efforts to ensure Kumba remains clean.
My strategy is my spirit of collaboration, my spirit of togetherness. I'm very, very happy that all of them, they stand beside me for me to achieve this position.
The company in charge of maintaining the Green City clean has renewed its vow of fidelity to the city it is in charge of.
2020, all those suburbs, Isakam is going to enter inside to remove waste. We don't have any challenge in the town. There is a general challenge, but Isakam is ready for the battle and we are winning big time. Isakam!
Isakam Kumba in previous years has witnessed the burning down of their work vehicles and threats from unidentified assailants. However, Isakam is standing firm in Kumba in a bid to maintain its promise to the people of Kumba, that of ensuring that the town remains clean.
The traditional ruler of the Bonanja Siga Bonjo village in the Nkam division of the Littoral region has been decorated as Knight of the National Order of Valor. The work of the Majesty Guillaume Mwele Kombi for 36 years as chief of the village was celebrated alongside his 90th anniversary during a ceremony marked by a Thanksgiving church service and traditional demonstrations. Rosine Fossa reports from CRTV Douala.
He has spent 36 years of his life at the service of the people of Bonahanja's Siga Bonjo village in the Camp division. His Majesty Guillaume Mwele Kombi, whose people also celebrate his 90th anniversary, has been described as a father who always gives a listening ear to his children. As he celebrates his life, the traditional ruler is preoccupied with the generation behind him.
The generations that come after me should emulate our example, because we want their good. War does not end where they are now, but they should look towards the future. They have to come closer to the elderly persons.
Given the grace of God on a man who today is moving closer to a century on earth, the people of Bonahanja Siga Bonjo, headed by the chief's son, Sports and Physical Education Minister, Professor Narcisse Mwele Kombi, decided to thank God through a church service. A moment also marked by the testimony of a son who is happy to have acquired the values of humility and simplicity from his dad. The work of His Majesty Mwele Kombi Guillaume since the age of 54 has been recognized by the head of state, who has attributed him the Medal of the National Order of Valor. Chair Patrick Ngwashi, Senior Divisional Officer for the Nkam Division, performed the decoration ritual on behalf of the President of the...
And this press release, the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji, will receive New Year wishes from his collaborators on Monday, January 20, 2020 at the Yaoundé Hilton Hotel as from 3 p.m. And on to our entertainment page, the guest artist of the week is a young vocalist and instrumentalist who hails from Fako Division in the Southwest region. He is Mola Mongombe and excels in a peculiar music genre which he calls Njoku Jazz. More about him in this report by Fame Bunyi Ayize from CRTV Southwest in Boya.
Mola Mongombe, also known as Le Roi Soleil Bass, is the new Afro music sensation from Fako Division in the Southwest region. Born and raised in Boya, the 30-year-old Bakwari artist from Bokwai village has a burning desire to showcase Fako culture on the global stage.
My music is jazz. It's under the genre of Afro jazz.
What inspired me to bring this genre of Njoku jazz is the quest and the desire and the love that I have for culture.
The budding artist, who recently launched his first music album titled Mutimbeli, already has an impressive fan base.
Given that it's a first album, though I have been in the business for a while behind the scenes, but my first album, I think I really appreciate the love, the reception of the album. It's really been great.
But just how did he get into music?
All of us grew up in our house. We 6 of us, and all of us would sing. My father, my mom, my brothers, we had a choir in the house.
The young vocalist and instrumentalist is already looking forward to collabos with some big names in the music industry.
With bigger artists, and like Richard Bona, like Etienne Mbappé, like Henry Dikonge, like Charlotte Dipanda.
With songs like this, Southwest culture is sure to stay alive.
And on to one of our lead stories. Football lovers, promoters and fans in the Far North region have saluted the decision of the Confederation of African Football accepting Cameroon to host the 33rd edition of the Africa's prestigious tournament. According to football fans in Maroua, Cameroon's pride has once more been reinstated after the 2019 humiliation by CAF that left many Cameroonians frustrated. The reactions were compiled by Constantine Bomb from CRTV Far North in Maroua.
Following the official declaration made by CAF's president when he visited the country to inspect some of the infrastructure, the news has been welcomed by football officials and sports fans in the Far North region.
It's only 1 year. We are ready. Cameroon will be very happy. All Cameroonians will be very happy to go and to see how Lion play this event.
The news leaves no one indifferent, as there was a general fear that Cameroon will be humiliated one more time.
It's with great joy that we got the information that the date has finally been agreed on.
Many inhabitants of the Far North are looking forward to the tournament with great excitement, with a special eye on the infrastructure.
The infrastructure that will be left behind, the development, hotels, roads and all that, I'm sure if they maintain the same spirit that they used in completing the stadiums, Cameroonians will be very happy and proud of their nation.
What we need to do is to rally behind the players, and I wish to say the coach to go in for players who are up to the mark.
The last time Cameroon hosted Africa's most prestigious tournament was in 1972, some 48 years ago. 2021 Africa Cup of Nations in Cameroon adds more respect to the nation.
And that report from the Far North region brings us to the end of this 7:30 news here in Yaoundé. Do join Atabadine Umar at 8:30 with Lovento Trant. I'll be in your company next week, Friday. But tomorrow, join Monkey Edwin Kinzaka at the 7:30 news. Bye, and thanks for joining us.